My name is Wooldridge. This is the final presentation from my IDS 401 Global Society class at Southern New Hampshire University. We are all connected. An individual in a global society recognizes being part of an evolving world community. Their actions contribute to the building of a global community's values and practices. Technology has increased the ways people can connect to the rest of the world. The most popular way is through the use of the Internet. The social practices through the use of the Internet allows people to feel empathy for countries who have experienced humanitarian disasters, civil conflicts, on a global scale. NOAA, a national science agency, and citizen scientists have studied the movement of garbage from other countries end up in the ocean. The garbage litter beaches and coastlines around the world. They demonstrate how the combined waste of different countries can cause major problems through science and observation. Globalization has led to a social change. Development of transportation and communication led to national and international trade on a large scale. Forms of transportation made it easy to move people and material goods. Forms of entertainment and news from radios, television, newspapers, and wireless devices has developed a great deal. They have helped the people from different corners of the world have regular interactions. The Internet alone has assisted in bringing people from all over the globe with common interests together. Gaming networks, YouTube, and dating websites are some examples on how the Internet has provided social change. Environmental science has molded the way people think about the environment. Many people view environmental problems such as protecting the oceans and reducing pollution as being an international one. Oceanography and geosciences has educated people around the world how to care for the environment. The world's national identity is changing. Globalization has given people a way to experience other cultures and traditions. This helps people understand other ways of life from their own. It is forming a new national identity with the new mixing of cultures worldwide. The new found understanding of global networking will benefit everyone and will help the growth of globalization. The advancements in technology have made a global workforce. One of the biggest obstacles of globalization is a person seeking a job has to compete with someone around the world for the same job. One benefit of globalization is being able to learn and understand different cultures. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch, also known as the Pacific Trash Vortex, is a global issue. It is formed by a few islands of garbage. It is made up of a variety of marine debris from many different countries that gather in the Pacific Ocean. It contains abandoned fishing nets, plastic bottles, containers, and small pieces of plastic. The Eastern Garbage Patch floats between Hawaii and California. The Western Garbage Patch forms east of Japan and west of Hawaii. Each rolling mass of trash is massive and collects trash from all over the world. Eventually, the trash is deposited on the coast and beaches of other countries. The origin of this issue is that people don't properly dispose of waste. Passengers and ship crews dump waste into the ocean. When ships are caught in storms, they often lose cargo to the oceans. Some of the items come from rivers and streams that flow into the ocean. A portion of the trash comes from people visiting the beach who do not properly dispose of their trash. Then the waste makes it out to sea. The seafloor beneath the Great Pacific Garbage Patch may also be an underwater trash heap. Oceanographers and ecologists recently discovered that 17% of the marine debris actually sinks to the bottom of the ocean. While many different types of trash enter the ocean, plastic makes up the majority of the marine debris. Plastic's durability, low cost, and flexibility mean it is being used in more consumer and indestructible products. Plastic goods do not biodegrade. It breaks down into smaller pieces. This issue is about how there is a large amount of non-biodegradable trash in the ocean. About 80% of the debris in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch comes from North America and Asia. Trash from the coast of North America takes about 6 years to reach the Pacific Garbage Patch, while trash from Japan and other Asian countries takes about a year. The remaining 20% of the debris in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch comes from boaters, offshore oil rigs, and large cargo ships that dump or lose trash directly into the ocean. I do see this issue having an effect on people that care about the environment. It mostly affects populations of coastal cities and villages. Some beaches are buried under 5 to 10 feet of trash, while other beaches are riddled with plastic sand, which is millions of grain-like pieces of plastic that are impossible to clean up. Marine debris can be very harmful to marine life. For instance, loggerhead sea turtles often mistake plastic bags for jellyfish, which is their favorite food. Albatrosses mistake plastic resin pellets for fish eggs and feed them to their chicks. The chicks die of starvation or ruptured organs. Seal and other marine mammals are especially at risk. They get entangled in abandoned fishing nets. The nets are discarded more often because of the low cost to replace them. Seals and other mammals often drown in these discarded nets. The trash doesn't only kill wildlife. Plastic and other debris damage boats and submarines. It litters beaches and discourages swimming in some areas. People need to be aware of how the floating trash can affect oceans and sea life. Plastic makes up 90% of all trash floated in the world's oceans. The United Nations Environment Program estimated in 2006 that every square mile of ocean hosts 46,000 pieces of plastic. In other areas, the amount of plastic outweighs the amount of plankton by a ratio of 6 to 1. Of the more than 200 billion pounds of plastic that the world produces each year, about 10% ends up in the ocean. 70% of that eventually sinks to the bottom, damaging the ocean floor. The rest ends up in the massive garbage patch, which plastic eventually washes up on a distant shore. This topic shows how connected we are in different countries. A small issue like not disposing of trash can affect other countries. This subject shows how people from different countries have contributed to the debris in the ocean, making this a global issue. For example, a plastic bottle discarded off the coast of California takes California current south towards Mexico. There it may catch a northern current, which crosses the vast Pacific. North of the coast of Japan, the bottle may travel on another powerful current north. Finally, the bottle travels westward on the northern Pacific current. The gently rolling vortexes of the garbage patch gradually draw the bottle in. After some time in the garbage patch, the bottle makes its way to a coast of a foreign country. It takes education and collective efforts to change our ways around the globe to keep this from becoming a bigger problem. The impact of this issue is devastating. The wildlife mistaking the trash for food items makes the garbage patch a contributor to the death toll of some species. Worldwide beach tourist attractions have been negatively affected by the trash and small particles of plastic. The search for missing flight MH370 was affected by the floating garbage. Environmental groups complained plastic waste and other junk was confusing authorities after garbage showed up on satellite as possible plane debris. Because the Great Pacific Garbage Patch is so far from any country's coastline, no nation will take responsibility or provide funding to clean it up. The future looks bleak when it comes to the Pacific Garbage Patch. If human populations around the world don't change their ways of disposing trash, the garbage would continue to grow. If countries don't make efforts to use biodegradable items, the garbage patch could aid in extinction of some animal species. Environmental scientists and oceanographers need to keep showing the impact of this trash on the environment. In order for a drastic change, people need to see how their current ways are negatively affecting the environment. Here are a few recommendations to deal with the problem. Many individual and international organizations are dedicated to preventing the patch from growing. Countries should use their resources to aid the organizations dealing with this garbage patch. Each nation should contribute time and funds to assist in the cleanup of the trash. Nations need to educate people of this global issue. Scientists and explorers agree that limiting or eliminating our use of disposable plastics and increasing our use of biodegradable resources will be the best way to keep the Great Pacific Garbage Patch from growing. How do we implement this plan? I will come up with a global aid campaign to let people know the effects that non-degradable products have on our environment. I would show them how trash can easily be collected by sea if not properly disposed of. I would promote beach and coastal cleanup. Using biodegradable items would be better for the environment. If biodegradable items end up in the ocean, the sun and water would break down the products. This will reduce the time the item would be floating in the garbage patch. Wildlife would have less of a chance to mistake the items for food. The trash would be less likely to make it out into beaches and coastlines. Organizations such as the Pollution Coalition and Plastic Ocean Foundation are using social media to media and direct ad campaigns to support individual manufacturers and businesses as they transition from toxic disposable plastics to biodegradable or reusable materials. In order to preserve the resources the planet provides us, people need to make a drastic lifestyle change. If not, the future generations will have to view the resources we once had in history books. Thank you for your time.